going to take a little privilege and ask for corporate prayer from everyone, because I believe in prayer, and I hope I can get through this. I believe in prayer, so as many people as can lift my grandson up. He was air back to Children's Hospital in Atlanta yesterday afternoon, and he's a special needs kid that has a lot of issues. He wasn't expected to be here but a year. It's been 10 years. So I'm going to ask for 1 minute of silent prayer from all of us. We know God's will be done. But however you want to ask for comfort for my family, my daughter, take 1 minute and do that now, please. Thank you. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, the creator of the universe, Lord, to me that means that you know all, you do all. Your will be done. The special prayer I want to ask in this meeting for everyone that's here, and everyone that's listening, and everyone in our community, that Lord, we know that you are it. You are the one that knows everything. You are the creator of the universe. And whatever you say, snap your finger, it can happen. And this special prayer is that for our community can come together and just all of our actions, Lord, be pleasing to you, and let our will align with your will. If that happens, Lord, I think we'll be one of the best communities in this entire world. There's a lot of friction, confusion, and things going on in the world today, and I just make this a simple prayer, that you be with us and you instill in us, Lord, that you are God, and if we follow you and follow your commandments and study, that things will be according to your will. These are all blessings we ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Irby, and we will certainly keep your grandson in our prayers. Family members are very dear to all of us, and for those of us who have family members with special needs, we know that there's even a little more of a special place in your heart for those. Thank you for that wonderful prayer. Council, do we have any changes to the agenda? One thing that I would ask y'all to take note of, it's in your documentation, your backup documentation, but the approval permit under J for the Tennessee Williams Tribute and Columbus Arts Council to host the Stella Yell. There is beer sold at that event, and they're asking for approval for that as well. It's in the backup document. That's J under Daughtry. Any other additions or corrections? If not, do I have a motion to adopt? Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hands. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. At this time, I'll ask for approval of the minutes from March the 7th, 2023, and also from March the 16th, 2023. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, council. Before you, we have the consent agenda items A through K. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. At this time, council will move to approve the docket of claims. Mr. Jim, do we have the adequate funds to cover the docket tonight?
We do.
Thank you. The docket of claims is in the amount of $728,753.44. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hands. Okay, two people, DeChico and Jones, are you not voting, or are you voting opposed? Okay. Motion carries 4-2. At this time, we're going to move into the comments from the mayor and council. And today is a very special day in the city of Columbus because our wonderful COO, Jamie Garrett, is celebrating her 25th birthday. So we would like to sing to her, if you will join me in a round of happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jamie. Happy birthday to you. Yes, you. Thank you, Jamie. We enjoy embarrassing you when we can. Okay, before we go any further, council, do any of you have any announcements you'd like to make? Councilman Beard?
The Ward 4 meeting will be canceled this month because of the 8th or 9th annual Easter Festival that I host. It's on April the 8th at the Post Park from 11 to 2 p.m. Make sure y'all bring y'all kids out. I'll be having meetings all next week. So April the 8th from 11 to 2 p.m. at Post Park is our annual Easter Egg Festival.
Thank you, Councilman Beard. Any other comments, council?
Yes, Ward 1.
Yes.
State of the Ward meeting will be April 13th.
April 13th.
That's on a Thursday at Townsend Community Center.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any others?
I have one.
The women of Columbus Municipal Court will be hosting Women's History and Empowerment Lunch on Monday, March 27th at 11:30 a.m. at the former Fire and Rescue Public Education Center. It's the training center at 1601 Main Street,
1601 Main Street, and what time is that?
11:30 a.m.
11:30. Thank you, Ms. Garrett. Any others? At this time, council, do you have any questions for our department heads? You have their reports before you.
Yes, Mr. Bush here.
Mr. Bush? Good evening, sir. Mr.
Good
Mickens?
evening. Good evening, Mr. Bush. How you doing?
I'm good.
Just had one question, some concerns. I know we are doing some things down on the yard. Could you update the council on what's going on the yard now for us with new equipment, camera? Could you update us on that, please, to see where we at with that?
Yes, for the trucks, the pickup truck, we have received the 3 trucks in. There's one more that we need to get for the pickup truck for the drivers. Now, for the other zero turns, we got all the zero turns except 3, and we got 3 more of those to get in. Now, the heavy equipment that we have, it's hard right now because everything is on back order. Even I tried to go with my sidearm, which we need another sidearm, Bush Hog sidearm. What's going on with that is that the company that actually has the sidearm, well, no, this is the tractor part of it. They can't get it, so we can actually get it on contract, state contract. But he's working with me on that, so we can try to get that worked out. Now, the other thing is that we have the option between the boom trucks or the high reach. Both of those pieces of equipment we need. I have found a vendor that has the bucket truck high reach that we normally need so we can cut most of these trees that's actually dead and about to fall. We're working on those.
Did we allocate you the money for that to get that equipment?
Yes, the money is not the problem now. It's trying to get the equipment. That's the problem. That's what I'm working with now, the vendors, and trying to get something arranged so we can get something or get a concrete date to get these equipment in.
On the yard per se, I know that you got a new gate there now. Could you elaborate on that?
Yes.
And how's the camera process coming now? We supposed to be getting new cameras down there? Where we at with that?
Now with the gate, we do have the gate installed, which is working wonderful right now. You have to use a PIN code just to get in. The front gate is already locked with only 3 people that actually has that key, but the back gate is what's normally being used, which we have that electronic gate back there now. So that is working out well. And with the camera, as Mr. Joe said.
Yes, sir, Councilman Mayor. The cameras have been built. They're at Columbus Light and Water right now. What we're having a problem is locating underground utilities there. A new pole is going in the ground, and we've been 3.5 weeks with underground utility locates because it's such an old road. They can't find some, and they tell us there's a abandoned but still pressurized natural gas line in that area, and so we've told them on Monday of this week that we'd go to a new location if they can't find it, but they've not allowed us to dig because they can't find. They said we could dig, but it would be at our risk if we blew up something. So we said that otherwise we'd go to a new location, but everything else is ready once they find the utilities.
If you can, give us a time frame here. Give us something.
We hope to have it up this week. I mean, we're meeting with them again in the morning and saying, give us a new location if you can't find the line. But apparently there was a gas line that came down past the church that I guess went into to the garage. Yeah, so if not, we're going to go to a new location. We had a better location, but we'll go to Plan B, basically. But it's ready to go. Columbus Light and Water is ready, and they're putting up a new light that's much brighter for the whole back end of the building, too.
Okay. Mr. Bush, you said that only 3 people have keys
To the front gate,
to the front gate.
yes.
So you have a back gate then?
Yes, the back gate is what they are using. That's with the PIN code. So after hours,
So everybody got that, PD, fire department,
that needs it, yes.
to get in there?
But other than that, there's a PIN code that we normally unlocks it through the daytime that the gate won't get worn out.
Will we have cameras back there at that back gate too to see who coming in and going out in the front?
The camera that's gonna be put up will get all of those angles.
Do everybody have a PIN code, different PIN code, or they all use the same PIN code?
No, all the departments, they use the same PIN code. All the ones for is the fire, police, and,
Fire has one, police has one PIN code.
no, they use, same PIN code.
Okay, so you don't know who's going in and out,
Yeah, I mean,
because everybody using the same PIN code?
no, for fire and police, those only somebody that actually using this PIN code, fire, police, and, light and water. My guys actually doesn't have it, so.
Question, Mr. Bush. What's going on with the boom trucks?
2 down. I just got a call right before I came here. The steering wheel messed up on it and having to park. I think it's some kind of axle or something Mr. Link mentioned. But he said he should actually have that back running in the morning. That's what we are down. The other one is hopefully this week should be out, so we should be back up with 2 boom trucks running. And I have been mentioning that to some of the constituents that have been calling and asking about it.
I got one more question. You was talking about PIN, and every department has their own PIN. How hard is it to give every individual a PIN
For what? For the gate?
for the gate?
Oh,
It can be done. The machine will take it. It'll take up to 1,000 codes, but it has to be manually entered in there. It's a programming. It's difficulty because it's not hooked into a computer, but the box will take up to 1,000 codes, and you can give the codes out. So, if y'all want us to do that, it can be done. No, so you can't go back and say that. That's correct. You can't go back and say that I entered at 5 o'clock. All you can do is just cut off a person from going in. If I worked there and I was terminated, I wouldn't know that you would take my code out of the box. That's the only advantage.
thinking if it was some way to track it.
Well, the cameras are going to be, the way we got the cameras aimed is one, that's the reason we want this location. One is aimed right at that back gate, at the code box. One is aimed at the gas pump code box, and one is aimed at the front door, at the front gate, and you're going to get all three of them. I mean, it'll be beautiful pictures, and that's the reason we're waiting on a new light, because it was dark back there. But if you're entering a PIN code, we're going to be looking over your shoulder. And I mean, we'll know who you are. You're not going to hide, because the PIN code is on the same side as the camera.
When you get that, Mr. Dillon, is there any way possible for the man council to be there with the process? We can go through it and see what's going on.
Sure, be
Is
happy to
that
do it.
possible?
Yes, sir, be happy to. Real easy.
Any other questions?
I have a question for Mr. Jim. Our financial report shows we've got over $9 million. It looks like we're good and healthy, but couldn't our accounting system generate a more meaningful report so we'll know how that looks with what we owe? Or, I know it says at the bottom that all departments are on budget and the revenue is on budget. Well, just showing how much cash you got in the bank doesn't always give a full picture. I guess I was a banker too long. You want to look at the other side as well. You may can tell me, we're doing great. We don't have a lot of debt. Our credit rating is great. I mean,
Well, we don't depend on our credit rating. Most of our debt is privately placed. The funds look good, although when I was doing the research, I couldn't figure out why we had a negative number last year at this time. And I looked at it and I re-looked at it, and I had Linda, my assistant, help me look at it, and it's right. And what happened was most of the taxes and the sales taxes and the ad valorem taxes arrived on 3/1. So at the end of February, it was, cash was depleted for the city. This year, we have already received a significant portion of our ad valorem taxes, and as you can see down at the bottom, we're about $500,000 ahead of last year in sales tax receipts. As far as debt, I can tell you what our debt is, but I'm not sure that I could tell you when the debt payments are due, but this year we'll pay off $3.3 million in debt. It comes at different times and different stages throughout the year. If you're asking me my opinion is that the city's financial strength is strong. And we continue to close internal control issues and look at those. Obviously, we're still following up on the audit. But, I mean, I could create a balance sheet, but I'm not sure. It really is more what you would like to see versus what I can create, because I can let you see whatever you want to see.
thank you.
So,
That helps.
so if somebody wants to see something, just have them send me an email and I can give them to them. Either way, any way you want to do it.
Thank you.
Uh,
Any other questions?
And do a public records request.
I love you already.
Any other questions for department heads? If not, Ms. Garrett, will you take us through the board vacancies, please, ma'am?
Yes, sir, we have 2 tree board vacancies. They are 3-year terms. They are Michael Foster and Mildred Monroe's terms. They expired on December 3rd, 2022. The appointments for these will be made April 4th, 2023. So far, we only have 1 applicant for those terms, and that's Jill Juilliard. We also have 2 other vacancies for the tree board. They are 3-year terms. They are Bruce Sang Sing's term and Reed Nevin's term. They expired on April 7th, 2023, and April 19th, 2023. The appointments will be made at our April 18th, 2023 meeting. So far, we don't have any applicants for those terms.
Thank you, Ms. Garrett. Any questions, council? Ms. Garrett, would you please take us through the citizens' input?
First up, we have Mr. Carl A. Lee to discuss the city government. Mr. Carl A. Lee to discuss city government.
Mr. Lee, are you here?
Next up, we have Ms. LaVon Latham Harris to discuss the CPD Overview Committee.
Ms. Harris? Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jeff, how y'all doing?
Good.
Good.
Sir.
What Colin is giving y'all is just a copy of some of the members that was on the overview committee. Myself and Mr. Barry's name was left off, and they was gonna be here, but Mr. Barry, he got healthy. He just got out the hospital. And I talked to Ms. Sturgeon, but she had a meeting today, but Colin is here. And I came before you guys today, but I came before y'all last year about the overview committee, and Councilman Jones and Councilman Beard and the mayor. Y'all told me to go back and, discuss it with the other committee members and talk about the overview committee and then bring it back to you guys. So I'm back. And, the overview committee was formed back in 2015 after the Ricky Ball shooting. And it's not about the police department, really. It's about giving the citizens a chance to have transparency and a chance to kind of like their input and to analyze different scenarios and incident, that involve the police, different police officers like we had in the past. And also, it also gives the citizen and giving the police department another chance to have another set of eyes from the citizen standpoint. And what we want to do is just come in and have our own voice on our city government. And Mayor, and I know you was just at the Town and Tower Club, and you made
Yes,
your
ma'am.
statement that the citizen involvement is the backbone of a strong government. And you also said as a constituents, you have to hold us accountable, and you should. So
I did say that.
Yeah, you did. So what I'm saying is about the overview committee, it was never dismantled. What we did was we stopped meeting due to COVID. And I know Mr. Green and Jackie probably don't know a lot about it, but the rest of the guys do, and Ms. Stewart. It was formed, like I said, due to Ricky Ball shooting. And what it was, each councilman had one person from their ward on the committee, and then myself as NAACP, and that's how we formed. And also, if you don't want to talk about it, make a decision tonight, we would also like, if we could, meet with the mayor, the councilman, and the chief to kind of discuss this to see where we at about the overview committee, instead of me just trying to put y'all on the spot.
Council, I asked to find in the minutes where the task force was created, and Ms. Pat has not been able to find that, just to try to bring background to everybody so everybody would have a clear understanding of the, but I do know that we have copies of former minutes that we've pulled together, and I believe the last time y'all met was in 2019.
2019.
So this committee was formed by the council, and it'll be the council's determination whether to continue it. And then if so, we need to look and see with the appointments that each council member has to discuss new appointments or continued appointments. Those are the kinds of things I think we need to determine.
And, excuse me, Mayor, and
Yes, ma'am.
also, for some of the records you can keep with Ms. Doris, she always did the recording minutes for us when we formed this committee, and she was at every meeting. And then, like, some of the council showed up at the overview committee, but they didn't have a vote or anything, and you can see kind of on there who didn't have a vote or whatever. Like Joe, he was a part of it, the mayor and them, and they didn't have a vote, but some of the council did come out, sit in on the meeting, and we just sit and listen and kind of went over different stuff that went on in the citizen. And the point is, what you got to understand too, and another reason that I'm here, because I'm having a lot of people calling me about the overview committee, want to know is it still intact. So I said, yes, it's still intact, because the council did not dismantle it.
Dissolve it.
We only stopped meeting due to the fact we had COVID. And when I came back to you last year, Councilman Beard and Jones and you, Mayor, y'all told me to contact everybody and bring it back to you. And I know Pastor Steve James, he don't want to be part because he got a lot on his plate. And remember R.J. Matthew, he moved away.
So have y'all had another meeting since then?
No, because y'all told me to bring it back to you. And before we meet again, we want to meet with the council, mayor, and the chief.
Harris, my question to you on the overview committee, you said you have a lot of citizens with concerns about the overview committee meeting. Is there any particular questions or problem? What are their concerns about why you're meeting?
Well, I just had some calls. I said maybe about from 5 people want to know that we still have the overview committee going. And I think this was during the time that whatever the incident happened with John, I forgot his real name, on Gardner Boulevard. And I just said that, I was coming back before the mayor and council because I came before you last year. And Mr. Jones and Mr. Beard asked me to talk to everybody and see where we were at. But like I said, before we can do anything, we still need to meet with the mayor and the council and the chief to see where y'all take us on this.
Ms. Harris, my personal we hear what you're saying, and we are taking into consideration. I'm not gonna move without my chief. I think the chief needs to be a part of this, and you need to be talking to the chief of police. Okay?
Councilman Mickey, what I just asked is for the members of the overview committee to meet with the mayor, the councilman, and the chief. Not trying to get you to make a decision today. I said we need to call a meeting.
Get back with you on that.
Okay.
So if this was to continue, you got 12 names on here with 12? Is this a 12-member board? Or, I mean, is all of these people appointed, or some of y'all volunteers that automatically would be on the board? I mean, how would that work?
Well, Councilman John would have, Mr. Beard, how it worked the last time, each council member appointed someone from their ward to serve on the overview committee. Other than the NAACP, we had a chair. Pastor James was the chair, but like I said, at the time, Pastor James, he's got a lot on his plate, and he said he cannot come back to it right now. Pastor R.J. Matthews, he moved away. So there is members on there. I talked to Miss Tiffany Sturden, and she had a Ward 4. Ward 6 never did have anyone. So like I said, it's up to the councilmen what y'all want to do.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. You said when they did it, so Ward 4 had a special place on this board. They got 2 people on there, so I get to pick
At the time,
2 people.
Well, yeah, I'm in Ward 4, but
Oh,
at the
okay.
time I was on there, they put me on there as being the president of NAACP. Because y'all know back during 2015 with the Rigger Ball, it was all hell broke loose.
You said you couldn't find in the minutes what their plan was, like, because I see on here it says voting and non-voting, and so.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
been
what
trying
are
to
they
find out
voting on
what,
and
when it
doing?
was
Yeah.
established, what was the criteria, and we have not been able to find that in the minutes thus far, right, Ms. Pat?
That's correct. I looked through all the minutes for 2016. Now, the first minutes that I saw Ms. Blewett had transcribed was September of 16. But those were minutes from the meeting. I do not see anything in the minute book regarding the formation of the oversight committee.
Well, I can't answer that. At that time, Mayor Smith was the mayor. And like I said, a lot of the confusion came in was the Ricky Ball shooting, the incident up until that. And, we was getting riding with the community. So they just kind of formed us to kind of be the police between the community. They kind of keep down, because they wanted to do everything was going on back then. So, and I think Councilman John them know. So that's why I was formed. Oh, hey, Marty. So, no, I think Marty was on the city council and Tiffany. So, that's how it was kind of formed. So, like I said, we just trying to get a meet with you guys and the chief to see where we at this point.
We do have a civil service, someone that really looks over everything over the police department is our civil service. Y'all are more than welcome to come to some of those meetings and see what's going on to the civil service. It's not like we don't have nobody to look over issues that's going on in the city. Before the council does issue, the civil service look at everything.
And Councilman Mixon, we do know you have a civil service board, but in the past, you had a civil service board during the time that we was formed back in 2015 up until COVID hit. And we still had to meet with the civil service, and you still had the overview committee.
Well, when it happened it was going to be a liaison between the city and the police department. because we didn't have much, conversation between that. That's why I think it happened. But see, I think it's maybe a good idea that y'all go in and realize if y'all want to form this again, I'm 100% behind the chief. I'm 100% behind him. So if y'all want to try to go look at it and see it, that's all up to y'all. But I just want to make sure that y'all know why it was formed. It was because of Ricky Ball. And it was a transparency between the police, and they was turning on body cameras. And I know those things would not happen again, so I really don't have a problem one way or the other.
Yeah, you know, we make,
And that was because of the oversight committee. Those were recommendations that came from the oversight committee. So,
and that's what we did, made recommendations.
I think it's a good idea what Councilman Mickens was saying, that we, and what you were saying, that we have a meeting with the chief, and maybe he doesn't want to call it an oversight committee. Maybe it's coffee with the chief at a set time.
Maybe we should start with the chief.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
We have to give this,
When he's in,
Yeah,
look at it from there.
Yeah.
yeah. And
we
that's
have
why,
to give this chief time to appropriate with this city, because he's used to one way and we used to another way. And he's the chief of police. Let him be the chief. And then anything else that we try to do, then let's try to do that and implement it with him. And that probably work out best for this city.
yeah, and that's why I said we need to have a meeting.
Okay, well, I can work with you all.
On scheduling that meeting with the chief. He's currently out of town right now at a conference, but I can work with you all on scheduling that. And also, if you haven't met him, this is our Assistant Chief Garland Ward here. And he'd probably be a good person for you all to talk to as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
More questions?
Any other questions or comments, council? Thank you all very much. At this point, council will look at the policy agenda. First up is to discuss and approve derelict property docket.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. You have 5 cases tonight. The last one on the docket has been deleted. That property sold before we started the case. The first one is case number 23-0045, Belvin Duck, 1903 Bell Avenue, Belvin Duck, Belvin Duck. If you're here, come forward. Ms. James, I believe your recommendation is for immediate abatement.
That's correct.
Mr. Council, I would follow Ms. James' recommendation for immediate abatement because there's no one here to speak for that property tonight.
We have a motion for immediate abatement. Do I have a second? Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hands. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, council.
Next is case number 23-0053, Willie Mack Coleman Jr., 514 15th Street North, Willie Mack Coleman Jr., Willie Mack Coleman Jr. I understand this gentleman has asked for a 45-day extension, and you are recommending that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hands. All opposed, same sign. Did everybody raise their hand? I didn't catch it. Did you catch it, Ms. Pat?
I did not.
Are we in discussion before we vote? Did you vote, Councilman Beard? Okay. I think you got a unanimous vote.
Okay.
Thank you.
I forget which case we're on. I think the next case is 23-0054, Flora Nicholson, 1005 Fifth Avenue North, Flora Nicholson, and that this owner has remediated the property, and you're asking for an order of reentry pursuant to 21-1911 Mississippi Code?
That is correct.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hands. All opposed, same sign. Thank you, council.
These next two are seeking immediate abatement, so I'll just call them both at the same time. If nobody shows up, you can do it at once. First is case number 23-0055, El Bethel MB Church, 2207 Washington Avenue, El Bethel MB Church, El Bethel MB Church. Next is case number 23-0059, Daniel Lemus Gutierrez and Edgar Ortega Varela,
Very good.
1514 3rd Avenue North. Daniel Gutierrez and Edgar Varela. If you hear, come forward. I believe these two you're asking for immediate abatement.
That is correct.
So move.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion, council? If not, all in favor, raise your right hands. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. What about the 250 stuff?
Next, Mayor and Council, I believe Ms. James is going to ask that you enter the list of 250 or less derelict properties for this docket containing approximately 12 cases.
I would like to ask, can we take 23-0080 off Dirk Dixon 801 Waterworks Road? That apartment complex has been sold to someone else and it has already been cleaned up.
Oh, yeah, my correction, I'm sorry, we was supposed to remove that.
I
So
got you.
I apologize.
You good.
So it's now 11.
So the request would be to enter it with that one redacted or deleted.
That's correct.
Do I have a motion?
So move.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion, council? All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. James.
All right, thank you.
Next, discuss and approve promotion of one public works laborer to crew leader. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hands. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Discuss and approve request to hire 3 laborers at $12.50 per hour pending successful completion of a pre-employment drug and screen and medical exam. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hands. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Discuss, approve hiring 2 entry-level firefighters pending successful completion of a pre-employment physical exam and drug screen. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hands. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Discuss, approve promotion of one Columbus Fire Rescue employer from firefighter to engineer with the appropriate salary adjustment effective March the 21st, 2023. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hands. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, council. Discuss and approve promotion of one Columbus Fire and Rescue employee from engineer to captain with the appropriate salary adjustment effective March the 21st, 2023. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hands. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Discuss, approve request to transfer an employee in Public Works to the Trotter Convention Center with a salary adjustment.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have one more matter. Discuss and approve employee use of citywide vehicle policy. I believe y'all have a copy of the policy in front of you. Mr. Turnish, do you have any comments for the council?
We covered this pretty thoroughly in the work session, so I don't want to bore everybody with the regurgitation of the same thing, but if somebody would like me to do it over again or has specific questions, I'll be happy to try to answer it.
Yes, sir. They asked, I don't know how, because I came in late, but public works employees that are out working on the job and they have a break and they stopping at, like, say for instance, Sunflower or the Sprint Mart on 82, they don't have to take that truck back to the garage and then turn around and come back, right?
If they're on a lunch break like that, I would say no. But if they have a take-home vehicle and they're going to the house, they really should not stop and pick up something for the family or some grocery shopping personal pursuit like that.
But it's okay for them to take the vehicle home for lunch? Or are they supposed to take and go get in their car and go home?
If they're on-call emergency responders, I would say it's at y'all's discretion, they could.
But that's not Public Works, though. They're not considered, is that what we determined?
You may determine that they respond to emergencies, but if they use it for going and coming to work, they'll have to pay a taxable benefit for it. So you can authorize it, but they'll have to pay a tax for that benefit. That's federal law. That's not part of this policy, though.
Is everybody clear?
In other places.
As far as whether other municipalities consider Public Works emergency responders, I don't think we've found out anything for sure.
I didn't look for it because I found in the federal regulations where they say who are eligible for the exemption and who's not.
But we're still trying to find out.
And we're still looking into it, and because this policy didn't address that,
That's right.
it wasn't oppressed. This is just a policy for vehicle use, but this wasn't a policy to address whether or not Public Works, and also that would also include the garage, because there, Mr. Lang has a take-home vehicle as well, and he gets called out in case a fire truck stops or in case any vehicle stops, during a disaster.
Mayor, council.
Yes.
Actually, I checked with West Point. I talked to the Public Works Director there. He do have a take-home vehicle. I did talk to Gulfport, D'Alville, and Biloxi, which is Warren. I know Warren is over Gulfport, and he's the director there. They do take home their vehicles because they still consider as much emergency responders, even though, I mean, we are not, the city, this city haven't adopted it.
I don't think they was trying to say that you couldn't take the vehicle home. They saying that you have to pay a tax if you take the vehicle home. So do they pay? Do they do that down
They do
there?
not pay, no.
Which would be a very small amount, depending on where you live. But anyway, I also did check with Wanda Holly, and she confirmed what my opinion is based on the research.
So, Casey, the people that you talked to, were those are the directors that took
Directors,
the director? Because we have you and Ben that take one home.
Yes.
But what you found out from them, which I'm glad you contacted them, is they are considered emergency though in those cities? Okay. That's what we need to determine. I mean, I know it doesn't.
I gave an,
The federal would have to determine an emergency, not us, right?
That's how I
From
view.
attack, yeah.
no, it had been federal,
If some other municipality found an exception in the federal law that
That's what
that
we
would
need to- that's
persuade
what we
me,
need to
then I would be
determine.
interested in that. But if they just do it wrong, that doesn't mean we should do it wrong with them.
I did. Did you get the handout Thursday at the workshop? Yeah.
I don't know which handout you're
Yeah,
talking about.
I got it.
Yes.
I don't remember it.
I don't-
However, the auditor did say that we're not in compliance. It's been a finding every year, and my notes say it's been a finding every year except 9/30/20 when Robert Smith did it correctly, and the others never have. So firemen, policemen don't have to, but public works guys are not considered emergency
And here's my thing
responders.
with that. I'm on call 24/7. Public Works Department. Something happened. I'm on call. That's the first person E911 call is me. Next is being on the list. And then it rolls down from there while we calling. That's my thing with that. I mean,
So we could just make you an honorary fireman.
Just so we're clear, I'm not. And just so we're clear, I'm not devaluing my
yeah,
opinion
but I
of
mean,
your
but
job.
We've been
It's
getting the low end
got
of
nothing
this
to do
for
with.
Public Works, not just in the city of Columbus, but over the state of Mississippi, and I guess in this country, for its Public Works employees.
Jim's got the mic.
We are very valuable to any city.
Right.
Let me address this if I can, please. You really have two decisions. Your first decision is, do you want to allow these employees that have vehicles to use them to commute? Now, I would assume that they don't use them for any other personal
No,
use
mine-
other than having them in case they have to respond. That's a decision that you can make as long as it doesn't violate Mississippi law. If you allow that, then what we have to do is make sure that Casey and anyone else that has a vehicle that uses it like that keeps a log, and we tax them for the personal use of that vehicle. It doesn't make any difference if he takes it home. He just have to be responsible for the personal percentage use of that vehicle. And that's federal law, and the city is not going to violate federal withholding law. So, but commuting is personal. So if he takes it home and drives it to work, if he's responding to emergency, that's not personal. But if he's driving it from his house to his office and back, that, he has to keep track of that for personal use, and that's just the law. But you can make the decision to let him do that. We just have to figure out how then we take care of the taxes on that, because he has to pay. It's a business benefit that has to be taxed.
It's not a benefit for me, because, I mean, I'm on call. I mean, here's my thing, because like I said, I stated this Thursday, last Thursday, that it's for us to benefit, it's benefit for the city, because I don't want nobody to be trapped under a tree and I have to travel back to the office to get a chainsaw or my vehicle. That's where we come in as emergency responders, and I don't understand why, you're gonna
Why Congress did it.
Well, Congress, and that's what we had it when I had the brochure there. But I don't understand them excluding public works from that, especially when we play a very important role in disaster.
Hey, Jeff, you think you can contact Gulfport attorney and see if they maybe have
I'll be glad to.
yeah, see if how they determine it.
Yeah. The
And
other
then
thing
we
would
can
be
go
is
from there,
to-
'cause we
is
can
to
talk about
contact
this
our
all
local
night.
legislators and see if they can pass something
And
in
also if they
Washington
are
to change it.
actually paying the tax for their employees.
The city's paying?
Because if there is a tax, it has to be paid by someone. So I'm wondering if those cities allowing them to have that take-home vehicle, are they paying that tax for the employee?
No, I don't think they can legally do that. It would be a donation.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But we'll double check all those things. Anything else, guys?
Just to reiterate, whether or not taxes are owed has nothing to do with what's on your agenda tonight. Tonight's agenda item is purely to regulate the use of the vehicle. And if you're going to allow people to take a vehicle home, the federal law says that you need to have a policy. And I've been advocating for that before I even looked at the federal law. We should have had a policy forever ago, and folks need to read it and follow it.
So we have a motion to accept the policy before you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Bush. Well, it does.
Do what you're doing. When it's time to charge, we go charge.
Believe it or not, I believe that is the last thing on our agenda for tonight. Do I have a motion to conclude? I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?